This is Christina Eve, and welcome back to my channel, Shinestrong, Live Long, where I inspire personal and spiritual development, encouraging you and I to become who we were designed to be with intentionality. This is a segment on my channel called ShineSessions, where I spotlight and have conversations with people who have said yes to God, people who are using their gifts and talents for God's light to shine strong through them. And as a result, the impact that they leave will live long in the lives of others. Today is episode 10 of ShineSessions, and I am with Domonique Peele. And Domonique Peele is the founder of The Caged Woman Unleashed. She is co-author of a book entitled My Sister Helped Me Heal, The Power of Kingdom Sisterhood. And she is a life coach with her own business called Ashes to Beauty Transformation Coaching Services. Domonique, welcome to ShineSessions. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hello, everyone. First, thank you, Christina, for having me. My name is Domonique Peele. I am a mentor. I'm an author. I am a transformation coach. I am a speaker. I'm an all-around agent. As she said, I just love, seeing people change. I started Unleash Her, and God has given me that vision just to see people be safe, feel fashionable, fearless, and free. And I'm excited to be here with you all today and just share a little bit more about my story.
Awesome. So you said faith-filled, fashionable, fearless, and free. I got that right. That's amazing. So yeah, she is very fashionable. I was like checking her pictures out on her Facebook page, and so faithful, fashionable, fearless, and free. I love that. I hope you copyrighted that tagline, girl. Yeah. So, okay, you have all of these things going on, a mentor, you coach people, you help people change. When did this start? Is this new?
I would say much of it has been like, sometimes God gives you a vision and sometimes you don't see it or you don't understand what he's showing you. So you just kind of write it down or you just kind of, pray into it more. But God has been showing me this for a while now. He has been showing me like what I was called to do. I had spent some time asking him, God, what is my purpose? Because it feels like, I have no purpose. I feel like every day is just a mundane day. It just feels like I'm just here, I'm just operating, and I don't know what you called me to do. So when I started praying, asking God, like, what was he calling me to do? He began to like reveal to me different things. And over time, it began to come to play, like, this is what you're called to do. And I would begin to come into agreement with it. But for some time, I couldn't see myself as these things, as the mentor, as the author, as the speaker. I was actually, one who struggled a lot with fear. I struggled a lot with using my voice. I struggled a lot with fitting into different rooms. Like it was terrible. But God began to just show me this is what you're called to do. He began to open opportunities, allow doors to open, and allow me to have these moments, just like even today, to be able to come and speak, to use my voice, to let others know what God has placed me here for, to use me to touch and impact somebody's life.
So I love that. I love especially something that you said. You said you struggle with fear, and now God has just put on your heart to help other people who struggle with fear. And that is just something, that is exactly what our God does, like the things that we're afraid of or the things that where we're challenged at is usually where our strength lies and we don't know, if that makes sense, So I'm pivoting a little bit from like the questions that I sent you because that was some of the stuff. We're going to start right there. So, okay. You said that you were struggling trying to find your purpose. You were like, God, like it felt mundane to you, but what did that look like, that journey to actually discover that this is something that you really wanted to do?
For me, it looked like one, like I said, praying. It was a lot of journaling, a lot of self-reflection time, a lot of alone time. Sometimes for many of us, we fight off that time where God tries to bring us into a place of consecration. Many of us think it's isolation and it's punishment, but God is trying to reveal something to us that he can't get to us while we're around others. Sometimes we fall into the trap of comparison. We allow the voices of others to be louder than his voice. So sometimes he has to pull us away to get these things to us. And that's exactly what happened. It seemed like I went through a season where God was just literally consecrating me, pulling me aside to myself, like with him, and he was just showing me these things. And while I was getting excited about it, it just seemed like, oh, I don't have anyone to share this with, or I couldn't release these things to others because I literally was in such a vulnerable space of trying to come into agreement with it myself in that time frame, like trying to understand, like, God, you see this for me, and I don't see this from me. But just as he took me on the journey, just through consecration, just isolating me from others and dealing with me, he began to heal me. He began to set me free from some things, from people pleasing, from the fear. Like, fear still tries to present itself to this day. It's not something that just, oh, it's once and you overcome it automatically. It's just a everyday decision that I'm going to show up. I'm going to do what God told me to do, regardless of this presenting emotion that feels like it's going to paralyze me. But it's like, no, I have to do this anyway because this is what God is telling me to do. So it was a long journey. It still is a journey. I feel like God reveals more and more to me every day, even still, with becoming a mentor, with becoming an author, a coach. The coaching was just recently. I want to say a few months back, he told me to do coaching. My mentor, she had launched her coaching program, and she was, certifying coaches. And God told me to do it. And I was like, God, where did this come from? Like, this wasn't on the vision board. I have a vision binder where I put things that God shows me every year. I update it and I keep up with it, so I can see what God is showing me over time. And even with being an author, I put that in there years ago, but I had this empty notebook trying to write a book and didn't know what I was writing. And I literally remember writing, God, I don't know what to say. You have to give me the words to put on the page. And it's like in my binder, those exact words. And God literally did that. He allowed me to walk down a healing journey. He allowed me to walk down this path of finding my identity. And he made a whole book come out of it. So I believe that God just took me on a journey. It was a lot of healing, a lot of self-reflection, a lot of alone time. It felt awkward. It felt weird. It felt like it could have been a punishment at the time, but it was so necessary for where I am now. It was so necessary for me to get to this place, to be as confident as I am, to be as bold as I am, to be moving in the direction that I am with God. Because if I would have went back and surrounded myself by others, I may have allowed being around them to snatch the dream from me. I may have allowed being around them to distract me. I may have allowed that to keep me from seeing who God was calling me to be. So it was just in that space, God just used that space and that time to bring me to this place. So if you feel like you are someone who is in that space, don't fight it off. Allow God to use that place and that time, because before you know it, you will look up and not even recognize yourself. I know that sometimes I still sit and it's like literally my mouth just drops. Like, God, I never expected myself to be in this place that I'm in today. Like, it's just mind blowing at times. And it's sometimes more mind blowing for myself than coming from others. Some people, are usually like, oh my gosh, like, when did you get like this? But I think I catch myself first. It's just like, God, you really did all that just from this one season. You brought me to this
place. That is beautiful. And just imagine what God can do with another season, girl. Because he ain't done with you yet. So that's amazing. I'm so thankful. That's like part of what I want to communicate to other people with Shinestrong Live Long, is that when you do let God do the work, in you will blossom into exactly what you didn't even know you wanted to be, and it happened to me, and I have experienced more than one of those seasons. And yeah, you're right. It does feel like punishment sometimes, like, God, like, I can't talk to anybody about this. Like, this is just, I'm all by myself, but he does a wonderful work. And when he's done, like the church folks, the song, you'll understand it better by and by. And so, yes, girl, sometimes I got to sing that to myself during those seasons for sure. But
so when you look back and smile on it, you're just like, it was worth it. I was fighting you, God, but it was so worth it.
So worth it. And I'm one of those people, I'm going to let everybody know how I know Domonique. We went to college together. We went to Troy University. And I was even telling her, like, when I was reaching out to her, I was like, yo, girl, what happened? She was like, she just blossomed all of a sudden. It's just crazy, like, cause she was, we weren't like, I didn't know everything about her, but she seemed quiet and to herself in school. And then all of a sudden she popping out, being fearless and fashionable. And I'm just like, woo, give me some of that. You need to come on the show. So, but I love that. It was all God. Praise him. Yes.
Oh God.
So you do a lot of work with women. I noticed like in your book, it talks about sisterhood and your brand Unleasher that is all about, female being fashionable and fearless and having faith. And I just want to know, why do you think it's so important that God gave you like that type of focus for your ministry?
I think God showed me one day. He had me sit down and write like a list of words of things that I had dealt with in my life, and there were things like fear. There were things like doubt. There were things like low self esteem, insecurity. And when I asked him, what did he want me to do with these things, even in regards to Unleash Her, because it felt like at first it was supposed to start as just a book club. He had told me, just start a book club. Because sometimes God will give us the smallest things just to see if we will take a step of faith and trust him with whatever it is that he's given to us. Sometimes we'll see the bigger picture and we won't take the smaller steps because we're focused on the bigger picture. And God is just like, just start the Bible study, start the book club. And it started small. I made a Facebook group. I felt really good about it. I'm like, okay, God, I'm taking these steps out here with you. Over time, I started feeling like I found myself getting discouraged. I found myself getting distracted. I found myself, all right, I don't know if I want to do this. I fought with it it's been around for almost like 3 years now, but you know, it's taking more and more of my yes. There's times where it's like, God, is this what you called me to? And he comes back and grabs me real quick. Yes, this is what I've called you to. He'll send someone my way to minister to. He'll send someone my way to like encourage me. And it's just so funny how much it happens. It's just like, God, okay, this final time I'm going to give you a yes because this is what you called me to. What is the vision that you have for this ministry? And that day, I'm driving. Like, he likes to talk to me a lot while I'm driving. I never understand that, but I guess that's the clear mind time. And he's just like, I want you to help women be faith-filled, fashionable, fearless, and free. And I'm like, wow. He's just like, I unleashed you to help unleash others. So I always say unleash to unleash. You're never free just so. It's not for bragging rights. It's not for you to just, make a show. It's not for you to just walk around flaunting like, this is what God did, da, 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 da. Like, yes, God gets all the glory. But at the end of the day, it's about what you do, the impact you make, and what you go back and do, what he frees you from. Are you going to go back and help free others? Are you going to go back and help mentor others? Are you going to help back and pull others along with you? Or are you going to enjoy your freedom while they're bound, while they're stuck, while they're, still in this place that you were once in? You know what they're dealing with. You've identified with them at some point and you know what you needed. So I need you to go back and do the same for them. So he gave me that and I ran with it. Like after that, it just brought so much clarity to the vision, of the ministry. And that's just what God has had me doing. He's had me, encouraging people. He's had me posting, videos for like drop-ins with Dom. Like sometimes I'll just give, brief 60-second encouragement from the word, whatever God drops on me. I'll drop, Bible studies. I'm actually starting Bible studies back up on next Wednesday. I'm going to do it, twice a month. So I believe that God is like pushing me back into aligning with the vision for real this time. And I just truly believe, I was unleashed to help unleash others. And I thank God for seeing me fit to be the one to go back and help others.
Awesome. I'm thankful that you said yes to him, because a lot of what you're able to accomplish is because of your heart posture. First of all, how you had to start in a place where you will remember this is where you came from, if that makes sense, and I understand and I can relate to that 100%, girl. So, so with that and everything that you have going on, what is the bigger picture for you? What is something that I know you said you do vision boards, and I know it's a faith walk. I can relate to that, where you're just saying yes to the little things, like you said, where God is just like, okay, can I trust you with this? And then you can open your hand for more and stuff like that. But bigger picture right now, and we know it might change because that's how God is. But that's what he does sometimes to what we think we want, right? But what is the bigger picture for you?
For me right now, I see the ministry just going into doing conferences, workshops, sisterhood gatherings, brunches, different things like out in the community, doing different initiatives. Like this spring, I'm trying to do something like a spring cleaning, so to align with the being fashionable, but in the sense of being able to give back in the same token. I'm gonna, post something about spring cleaning where people are gonna gather clothes together and we're gonna give them back to an organization of our choosing. So I just see us out in the community, others growing together in sisterhood, launching just different, initiatives and even helping women share their stories. Eventually, I want to bring women in to share their stories, to use their voices. I want to, host different things where women are able to come and be educated in different areas where maybe, life or the enemy, keeps them bound, like finances, different things like that, identity. I just, I see God just launching it off to be just this big sisterhood.
I love it. Girl, yes. Especially when you said brunch. That's like my favorite meal. So, just let me know so I can go and get some brunch. So with that and with your bigger picture and everything like that, I always on this show or this segment, I always make sure that I ask people, is there any advice that they would give to someone who is at a crossroads? And you kind of touched on that earlier, but if someone listening is at a crossroads of maybe saying yes to God, or maybe putting boots on the ground and actually starting the work that they feel like they're called to do, what advice would you give them?
Ooh, where do I start with this one? I think that I would just tell them, one, understand that even if fear tries to present itself, that you are enough, you are capable, and if God gave the instructions to you for a reason. So don't deny the fact that God chose you. Go forth in it, launch it, whatever it is. It could be a business, it could be your ministry, whatever it is that God is telling you to launch it. If you feel like you're not enough, that's just a sign of even more like God is calling you to this, and the enemy wants you to feel like you're not enough so that you will not launch out and do what God is telling you to do. Never be afraid to start again. I have, laid down the vision a couple of times, and each time it seems like God just gives it to me stronger. So never be afraid to start again. Sometimes you have to try again. I always story in Luke 5 where the fishermen were out in the sea trying to catch some fish and they couldn't catch it. They were just like, we were trying to catch fish all night. And then all of a sudden, Jesus like, cast your net on the other side. Again, try it with me. And then, they got overflow that time. So never be afraid to start again. You don't know what will happen the one time you do decide to give God a yes for real. So go forth in it. And then lastly, never compare your vision of what God shows you to anyone else. If God gave it to you, He gave it to you. Structure it how He's given it to you. Do not feel like you have to change it for anyone else. Do not feel like you have to be like the next ministry. A lot of people do a lot of the same things, and you have to free yourself from feeling the need to compare yourself to others or feeling like you're afraid to do something because the next person is doing something. You got to get past the people pleasing. You got to get past even their validation. You got to get past the thought of they'll clap back. They'll, give me a piece of their mind because I'm doing something. You got to be able to go forth what God is telling you to do, even in the face of opposition.
Great advice. Great advice. So I love how you said, don't be afraid to rewrite it, if that makes sense. So like revisit it if you're having doubts. I love that you said you were journaling, because a lot of what God gives me, I have to write it down. Like you have to write it down, because the enemy is gonna come and he's gonna attack your mind and make you feel like you're doing something wrong, and that you're not actually doing what you're called to do, and then God's not with you in certain times. And if you don't have something that you can revisit, then you're gonna be out here just like real confused. So yes, write it down. And then if you have to, go to your secret place and ask God again. Like, God, please, like, I need you to just remind me of what it is that you said, and help me feel as though like I can do this. Cause sometimes I just be like, God, I don't know. You really sure? Like, this is it? Cause maybe I could just stop right here, but He has so much more for you, more for you out here listening. If you have a vision that you feel like God has blessed you with, just be sure, spend that time alone in isolation, and just with you and God in that incubation period where He's going to grow you. That is so necessary. So Domonique, Thank you so much, girl. I want to know how we can get in contact with you. How can we be a part of your community or use your services if we need those?
You can find me on Facebook at Domonique Peele, and you can find me on Instagram at BeYou. It's BEYOU_NICU3. And then also you can follow me on my website at www.thecagewomanunleashed.com. Up there, I have, coaching services. I also have, books for sale right now. I have my book Unleash Her Unveiled, which is about identity in Christ, and also the book that I was a co-author in, My Sister Helped Me Heal. And if you'd like to connect with me, don't be afraid. Don't hesitate. Connect with me today.
I love that, girl. And wait, there's is your group still open if people wanted to hear like your Bible studies and stuff?
Yeah. So the group on Facebook is called Unleash
Okay, great. Cool. I'm a part of that group too, guys. So join. So, but Domonique, thank you so much. It has been a treat to just have you on the show, just to share your story. And I just can't wait to see what is coming next and for brunch, because that sounded really good to me.
Her.